Right now on News 8, deadly accident. Why prosecutors say the driver couldn't see a man crossing the street in the moments before this crash.
It's been one of the most rewarding educational experiences that I've ever had.
And opening doors that may not always be open. How a Quad City program is using a unique blueprint to build successful careers for dozens of students.
Live from WQAD, News 8 at 5 starts now.
Good evening, I'm Jim Mertens.
And I'm Denise Hanitka. Thank you for joining us tonight at 5.
An East Moline woman accused of killing a man on his bicycle was reckless because she didn't clear off her windshield before the crash. That's now according to charges filed in the death of Moline's so-called can man.
New at 5 tonight, News 8's Chris Miner reports on why prosecutors say they believe the accident was criminal.
Christiana Granata came to court today and pled not guilty, indicted yesterday in the deadly accident that killed a Moline man.
We plead not guilty to all charges and demand trial by jury.
The victim, Bob Moldenauer, was known as the Can Man in the neighborhood because of his daily trips to a nearby recycling facility. Witnesses have said it appeared Granata's windshield was partially obstructed when her van hit Moldenauer while he was crossing the street with his bike.
I thought, in my opinion, she was speeding, and she looked like her windshield was iced over to me.
New court documents tonight allege that Granata's van was not equipped with a windshield defroster or heat, and her visibility was obstructed by ice on her vehicle's window.
We have a situation where we have allegedly that she was unable to see at the time of her driving and that she killed somebody.
Witnesses have said they're still haunted by what they saw that day.
The white van hit him, put him right through the windshield. His back was through the windshield. He was looking at the sky like this.
State's Attorney John McGehee says the decision to charge Granata with 2 felonies after reviewing the evidence in the crash was not taken lightly.
We try to balance and weigh all the facts and make a decision, which we think was fair and which is just for all included.
The public defender is representing Granata. A trial date has been set for May. In Moline, Chris Miner, WQAD News 8.
Thank you, Chris. Granata is out on bond tonight. She declined to comment after today's hearing.
A Burlington woman is facing charges after police found dead animals on her property. Police arrested 53-year-old Lisa Morrison, saying they found the remains of 3 cats and 1 dog on her property. Morrison said the animals died back in 2014 and had been left inside the home ever since. She told police she couldn't bury them because the ground was too frozen at the time. Morrison is now charged with animal neglect causing death or serious injury.
2 days now into spring, and winter isn't quite releasing its grip on parts of Iowa. This happened out in Des Moines earlier today. The winter storm dropped about 3 inches of snow in western Iowa. As it moved closer to the Quad Cities, it left about 1 inch in the central part of the state.
And much of that moisture went south of the Quad Cities, but can we expect some wet weather in the very near future?
Of the spring variety, not the winter variety. James Zahara has a first look at the forecast. It's an important distinction, James.
Yes, Denise, and that's going to be option 1 on that too, as far as the spring rains are concerned. Boy, we had a few raindrops around here for some of our hometowns, just south of the Quad Cities earlier on in the day. Now we're going to be seeing a small little stretch of dry weather. However, with the help of our future track, I'm going to expand this out. We do see some very active weather developing as we get to the end of the work week and going into the weekend. One system around the plains, there's another one off the Pacific Northwest, and this will bring in some pretty good rainfall around here as we make our way into that period. So until then, things will be dry as temperatures will be doing a little fluctuation before that event does take place. Currently in the Quad Cities, 53 degrees as the skies are clearing out nicely, giving way to some sunshine around the area. And with this dry air, we're going to slice that temperature in half. So promising a pretty cold night, and that will, of course, lead to the week's coolest. And we'll tell you how cool those numbers will get and how much of a rebound we expect to see in those numbers in the rest of our work week coming up in just a few minutes. Denise?
Thank you, James. Silvis city leaders could be one step closer to fixing the community's storm warning system.
And during severe storms 2 weeks ago, people noticed the sirens simply didn't go off. This is the second time in 2 years the city says it's had problems with the sirens. The fire chief says there's a problem with the radio connection inside the siren, which makes it go off during a storm. He says they don't know how long the siren's actually been broken, but are working to fix it to avoid any future issues. Repairs to fix the sirens will cost the city more than $2,000. The committee will meet to talk about the issue tonight, starting at 6:30.
Illinois' newest effort to help people with disabilities is getting some mixed reviews tonight. The state is issuing cards that help police recognize a person with disabilities. News 8's Lauren Simone tells us why support for the new program isn't unanimous.
Herschel Jackson is working with the Illinois-Iowa Center for Independent Living, helping people like him find the resources they need.
I don't want to be controlled by, saying that being labeled as a person, individual with a disability.
Herschel is deaf and living as independent as possible. So when the Illinois DMV started issuing out new identification cards for people with disabilities,
Puts the stigma out there that, it could be a safety issue for individuals, or, especially I don't feel comfortable with that.
the cards were introduced by the state this year to make it easier for law enforcement to talk to disabled people. Although the cards are not required by law, they can be helpful.
An officer might stop a person on a traffic stop, and they might think they're under the influence or of alcohol or drugs whatsoever. But once this card is produced to them, and the ID card itself first states that it is a disability ID card, then that officer has a better direction of which way he should complete his traffic stop.
But at the Independent Living Center, for people to make their choice to get the card on their own is the most important thing.
Use of the card should be the person's choice, and that, in fact, if they needed the card, it should be available to them, and if they wanted it.
For Herschel, the way the system works now is just fine.
I'll have them put in a database that I'm deaf. So if I happen to call the law enforcement, for assistance, that automatically popped on the database that I'm deaf.
For others?
We're hoping that it picks up, and we hope that other people understand what the program is. It's not necessarily demeaning anyone, it's the point of trying to help someone.
It may be worth a try. Lauren Simone, WQAD News 8.
Thank you, Lauren. To apply for a Persons with a Disability Wallet card, you need to fill out an application from the Illinois Secretary of State's office with a written statement from a doctor.
A proposal in Iowa would mandate drivers leave an empty lane when passing a bicyclist. The bill aims to lower the number of bicycle-involved crashes each year. It says drivers would be required to move over one lane to safely pass a bicyclist. The Iowa Bicycle Coalition says the proposal would make Iowa roads safer. A similar bill failed last year. This year's bill did pass through a House committee and is now waiting for debate on the House floor. The coalition says it's cautiously optimistic it may be approved. Iowa lawmakers are also still waiting for the Senate to vote on a bill to prevent local governments from raising the minimum wage. The proposal passed the House last week. It's now waiting for a debate in the state Senate. 4 Iowa counties, Polk, Johnson, Wapello, and Lynn, have voted to raise the minimum wage, and this bill would roll back those increases. Last night, the Ankeny City Council voted to opt out of the Polk County raise, by the way. Right now, the minimum wage in Iowa, $7.25 an hour. Polk County's first increase goes into effect April 1st. Dozens of Illinois prison nurses could be out of a job soon. The workers received layoff notices from Governor Bruce Rauner's office telling them their jobs will be privatized. According to the Illinois Nurses Association, the state will hire contract nurses and the unionized nurses will be laid off June 15th. Those nurses work inside the state's prisons and treat prisoners with injuries or illnesses. The union says the governor's office has no authority to lay off those nurses.
Whiteside County businesses are learning that exports can boost the bottom line. It's a lesson for companies like Aztec Mobile Screens in Sterling. The American-owned company makes products for building roads and industry, and some of its business is exported to China. Now the Chinese Consul General is looking for a way to boost partnerships in Illinois.
China and the United States will provide mutually beneficial opportunities for each other.
We've got the assets to help people get their product to the major markets.
Illinois exported more than $5 billion in goods to China in 2015.
Western Illinois University is tapping into one of the most sought-after career fields, opening up opportunities for hundreds of students to get high-paying jobs. It's been a dream of those who built the Quad City campus to offer a degree in mechanical engineering, and now it's a reality as the school tries to help you build a better future. News 8's Christina Hepner talks with 3 students, each with different hopes for a better job ahead.
How are we doing on Chapter 5?
A passion for learning.
It's been very rigorous, I'd say.
And drive for success.
It is very challenging. It is very rewarding. I think the projects that we work on are a lot of fun, very interesting.
Is what John Dockery Jackson has for the mechanical engineering program at Western Illinois University.
It's been one of the most rewarding educational experiences that I've ever had.
Graphically, my velocity.
He's one of around 160 students in the new program.
There are some companies that their human resource manager will look at what their degree is, and if it doesn't say mechanical engineering, they're not going to look at them. So this will open some doors that have been closed to them.
The mechanical engineering program is the only one of its kind in the Quad Cities, making its graduates profitable.
There are 10,000 engineers within a 50-mile radius. There are 1,200 manufacturing and engineering companies here, and they're all hungry.
With the interconnect.
The students get hands-on experience.
This is all touchscreen interface controlled.
Working on large-scale projects.
We're getting experience in the field and things you never get in the classroom, such as dealing with suppliers, dealing with getting parts. An aircraft cabin LED lighting system.
Creating products for large companies like Elliott Aviation.
I've talked to many different friends of mine that are engineers, and they haven't done, in some cases, half of what we've had to do.
Link 1 and Link 3.
Pratt says his students will almost always get a job in the field, especially in the Quad City area.
40% of the positions that are available at any one time in this region are mechanical engineering jobs.
For John, he already has a potential job opportunity lined up.
I hope to gain a career, but also a lifelong passion.
Until graduation, he'll continue to work hard to achieve his goals. In Moline, Christina Hepner, WQAD News 8.
The new program only adds on 2 more classes to the original engineering program, so it actually makes it easier for current students to get the mechanical engineering degree. Still ahead at 5, horsing around for low prices.
The shopping trip by 2 Texas cowboys, why they didn't park their rides before walking in.
And that warm jacket is going to come in really handy come tomorrow, that is for sure. And I'll tell you how long that jacket will remain handy in the forecast right after the break here on News 8 at 5.
You're watching WQAD News 8 at 5 with Jim Mertens and Denise Hanitka.